Hello, Humble Hands community. Welcome to Knowlege Bomb. So here at Knowlege Bomb, what we're going to try to talk about for about 5 minutes every time is things that we do to our cars that make sense or don't make sense. And learning a little. Today's Knowlege Bomb topic is fuel, more particularly regular, mid-grade, and premium. And what your car requires. Do you need to make the extra investment to put in premium, or can you just stay with regular, or do you have to put in premium? So, first thing we want to talk about is what are the three grades. There is a very specific mathematical computation inside this book that shows the ROM number and why each one is the way it is. If you want to learn more about that, hit it in the comments and I'll get to you. Not a problem at all. So what is anti-knock? Anti-knock is the additives that they put inside fuel along with detergents in order for us to get high compression engines with less chance of detonation, ping, and other sorts of things. What detonation is and ping is when a piston is coming up for its power stroke, and before it can actually get there or after it's already moving down, we have an explosion happen, an uncontrolled explosion. We want the spark plug to go off and everything to burn nice and clean and come right back, no problems. But sometimes we have an improper mixture of the fuel, or something goes a little bit of a miss and we have a misfire. Then we have ping, then we have detonation. Detonation and ping are the really scary ones. Misfires will damage your catalytic converter. But if we put in the proper fuel, we'll have the best chance of not having these things happen. So the 93 octane has the most amount of anti-knock, which means that it also has the most detergents. It has the most that's not fuel. That means it's not burnable. It still burns, but it doesn't burn as power. It only burns as making sure everything else doesn't explode. All right, so next we want to talk about winter fuel and summer fuel. Winter fuel has a little bit more of an expansion. It goes up to 15 psi. Summer fuel will expand about 7 to 10 psi. And the reason we want to do that is, one, for how we get it to our cars once it's in our cars, but also it's changed because the volatility is different for each time of the year. In the winter we want more, in the summer we want less. And the reason is kind of just for cold start in the winter versus a cold start in the summer. That's the main gist between it all. Next thing we want to talk about is our three different types of fuel. Whenever you get fuel, it was delivered to that gas station somehow, and there's three different ways of doing this. We have inline blending, sequential blending, and splash blending. And I'll show you a little picture of here, this advanced diagnostics book, of what that kind of looks like. So we've got three gas tanks right here being filled up. This one is line blending, which all the chemicals are put in together exactly the way they're supposed to be, and they're mixed instantaneously. This one, you have gasoline being constantly filled, and then your second line is kind of like going on, off, on, off, on, off, and they're trying to get that mixture perfect. So on this one, you've got filled up with gasoline, and then they'll just dump all the additives in there, and they hope that as the truck is moving, it will swish around enough that it mixes it properly. The reason these are important is because we do have something called top tier gasoline. What is top tier gasoline? Top tier gasoline was invented in 2002 by the Worldwide Fuel Charter, and they have agreed on top tier gasolines. They took a couple of people who make cars and said, this is what cars need in order to run very well. But not everybody is in the Worldwide Fuel Charter. We have 53 fuel stations as of 2022 that are in there. Let me name off a couple just to give you some. You got Shell, Chevron, Conoco, Diamond Shamrock, Exxon, Mobil, Phillips 66, Sunco, Texaco, Valero. Now, a lot of the companies that you see in America, and you think it's going to be good gas, but they're not on this list. And you can check this list. You can just Google top tier gasolines in America or in my area and find out which gas stations are providing the proper type of fuel for your car. All right, next we have don't purchase fuel if they're filling up the gas station, because as they're filling it up, they're stirring around all the stuff in the bottom of the tanks. Everything in the bottom of the tank, there's a little bit of dirt in there, there's a little bit of water in there, and then there's a lot of fuel in there. And they kind of separate on their own in this tank that they have specially designed. But when you're filling it up, all that fluid on the bottom, all that dust everything inside there gets kind of mixed around, and those are things you don't want in your engine. Those are things you don't want injected into your fuel. This is why fuel filters clog. This is why things like that happen. Because we fill up whenever they're filling up. And if you can avoid it, by all means. If you have to do it, you have to do it. But I would recommend getting maybe 1 gallon of gas and then maybe come back later or something like that. If you're going to fill up a gas tank, one of those plastic ones or anything like that, jerry can, whatever you want to call it, make sure that you put it down on the ground, leave it on the ground, and fill it up as you have it on the ground. This will eliminate the chances for you to have a spark or anything bad happen. It keeps you grounded. Once you put the whole the gun away there, you can go ahead and close that top, and then you're more secure, more safe. That'll keep you and your family safe. The last thing I kind of want to get to is filling up our tank. Per the book, it states that we want to keep our gas tanks full at least a quarter tank. A lot of people say half, a lot of people say 3/4. A lot of people like to see it full. The book states a quarter because what we really want to prevent there is the same thing that's happening at the gas station when they're filling up. There is a little bit of water. There's a water line in your gas tank, and that water usually sits at the bottom of the tank, but they've kind of made room for this whole process to happen inside there. This will keep your vehicle from ever getting too much into pulling fuel from that extra area where a lot of this water tends to sit, a lot of this condensation. This is just stuff that happens over time. It's hot outside, it's cold outside, hot outside, cold outside. There's a fuel in there, it has water in it. And so that water will separate around and actually start to build up on top of your fuel, sink to the bottom. Water is heavier than fuel. I think it's 8 pounds to 6 pounds per gallon. If you want to really get the best bang out of your buck for fuel, fill up when it's cold outside, because fuel has a density, and the denser the fuel is, the more fuel you get. You might not think about it, but if it's cold outside, you're getting more fuel. And if the gun has that little tab that gives you the slowest pour, use that. I know it takes a little bit more time, but you're actually getting more fuel. And then also, if you're going to fill up your gas tank, yes, fill it up until it clicks, good, but you want to put more, go for it, but only fill up until the next 10 cents. And the reason why you only fill up until the next 10 cent rolls over to the next value is because there needs to be a little room. 10 to 15% needs to be, it's been created there. That's why it knows when to stop. That area has been created there for expansion. So as the fuel gets hot or cold, it expands, and that container needs room to do that so the evap system can work. So we covered sequential, we covered winter, we covered the top tier gasolines. Let's get into some specifics that we want to know about our vehicle. As far as what does my car require? Some vehicles will have a placard inside the gas door. When you open it up, it says premium fuel only, or unleaded is fine, or E85, things like that. If you don't know where to find that kind of information, well, you can come over here to your handy dandy book that you usually find inside your car, and you go to the index. You'll see in the back you'll have specifications. Go to the back specifications here, and we have a list of what kind of oil and everything that goes inside your car. And if I go over here, let's see, vehicle fuel. I've got unleaded gasoline, pump octane 87 or higher. That being said, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining Humble Hands Automotive. Thank you for joining our community. If you like videos like these, please hit like, go to our Facebook page, our YouTube page, our Instagram page, and find us. Check us out. We make videos like these all the time, and we love dropping knowledge bombs. Thank you everybody. Stay humble.